Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She left the laptop open at 2 in the morning. That wasn't like Lauren. She usually shut everything down like she was closing a store. I got up for water, saw the glow, and the calendar invite sat there in the corner. Q4 leadership mixer. Cocktail attire. +1's welcome. The location was a downtown hotel I knew, the one with the glass elevators. Her steps were quiet behind me. "Don't," she said, voice flat. I turned. "Don't what?" "Don't snoop. I'm looking at the screen you forgot to close." I glanced back at the words +1's welcome. "You going to this?" "It's work. Tedious. Spouses aren't. It's not that kind of thing." I tapped the line where it said otherwise. "Says they are. Technically. But it's political. You wouldn't fit in. That a style judgment or a height requirement." She shut the laptop with 2 fingers. "I don't want you there, Grant." There it was. Not a request. A rule. She brushed past me, lifted the glass from my hand, took a sip, and set it down like she'd done me a favor. "Let's not make this a thing," she added. "I need to sleep." If I'd known where it was headed, I would have turned off the light and let the invite burn my retinas. But I didn't. I thought maybe it was just stress talking. "Fine," I said. "Sleep. We'll talk in the morning." "Nothing to talk about," she said, already walking to the bedroom. That was the first signal. I poured the rest of the water down the sink and counted to 20. Then I made a decision to treat that invite like a weather forecast. Maybe boring, maybe a tornado. Either way, I wasn't standing in the yard pretending the sky was clear. By 7, the kitchen smelled like burnt toast. Lauren stood in a blazer I hadn't seen before, dark green, sharp lines. She was scrolling her phone with the kind of focus she used to have for us. I cracked eggs into a pan. "You don't have to," she said without looking up. "Eat breakfast? I'm a rebel that way. I grabbed something at the office." She glanced at my work shirt. "You on site today?" "Shop in the morning, job walk in South Hill after lunch." I plated the eggs. "I saw the invite last night." She cut me off. "We already covered it. I don't want you there." "Yeah, that landed." I slid a plate toward her. She didn't touch it. "What's the exact reason?" She sighed like a teacher. "It's networking. People say dumb things when they bring spouses. Last quarter, a guy's wife asked our VP about her Peloton. It was humiliating." "Got it. So I'd embarrass you." Her mouth twitched. "Grant, you're good in your world. This is different." "Different how?" "Conversation. Subtext. It's not a tool belt and a truck." I smiled. "You should see my tool belt subtext. It's fluent." She put the phone down. "Please don't make tonight complicated. I need this quarter to land clean. New accounts. This mixer matters." "Matters for you or for Evan?" I asked it like I was asking about weather. Evan was her boss. Tall, smooth, too many teeth. Her eyes flicked away. "For the team." I ate a forkful and let the silence sit. "All right. I hear you. If it's work, treat it like work." 2 adjustments then. Adjustments. First, I'm not your ride tonight. If spouse is complicated, so do husbands idling at the curb. Figure your own transportation. She blinked. "I wasn't asking for a ride. You usually do at the last second." "I'm getting ahead of it." I pointed at the second plate. "Second, wardrobe for work is paid for by work. I'm not covering a new dress for a party I'm not welcome at." She stiffened. "I didn't ask for your card." Again, getting ahead. I lifted my coffee. "Call it a calendar policy. If I'm not invited, I'm not funding, and I'm not on standby." "That's petty." "No, that's tidy." I set my cup down. "We had an anniversary dinner Saturday. Move it. My weekend is now booked. I'm helping Nate with his garage doors." She stared. "You're canceling our anniversary? You're moving tonight into the category career critical, and you asked me to stay out." I'm respecting the model. Saturday becomes practical. Door springs don't lie. "That's ridiculous." "Maybe, but it's consistent." I pushed back from the counter. "You have lunch plans?" "Cafeteria." "Good. That toast is a crime scene." I washed the pan. "One more thing. If anyone asks, tell them your spouse is very comfortable around conversation and subtext. He just prefers decency." "You're angry." "I'm alert." I grabbed my keys. "If you need anything non-political, text." "Do not come tonight, Grant." "I mean it." "Noted. I won't." I opened the door. And for the record, I've been to plenty of rooms where people pretend to be important. I survived just fine. She murmured, "You wouldn't understand." Maybe not, I said. But I understand respect. Her jaw tightened. See you late. See you, I answered, and let that be the last word. I hit the shop before 8. Rick, my foreman, was already rolling out cable reels. Morning, boss. Morning. You look like someone told you coffee is banned. House politics, I said, flipping through invoices. Rick grunted. Those are the worst kind. We ran through the day, a load calc for an addition, then the South Hill walkthrough. At 10, the shop door opened, and a courier dropped a box with Lauren's name on it. She liked using my shop address for deliveries because packages were safer here than at our porch. Rick raised an eyebrow. Special occasion? Work event, I said. He nodded like he understood more than I'd told him. At noon, I stepped outside and called Julia. I'd met her twice. One team picnic, one happy hour birthday thing where I stood near the exit and counted the minutes. Julia had the straightforward kind of energy you don't see enough in corporate land. Grant, she answered. Everything okay? Quick question. That mixer tonight. Is it employee only or not? Pause. Officially +1s are allowed. Unofficially depends who you ask. That means. She lowered her voice without getting dramatic. Evan likes to keep things controlled. Fewer spouses, fewer variables. But exceptions happen when it benefits him. Copy. I leaned against the truck. Lauren said spouses weren't invited. I'm not getting in the middle, she said carefully, which meant she was already halfway in. It's politics. I'll say this. You showing up might make the night messy for her. I'm not coming. I promised. I looked at the sky. Appreciate the clarity. Grant. Yeah. You good? I'm not 5, I said with a half laugh. I'll be fine. Okay. I'll see her there tonight. Thanks. I hung up and put away the idea that this was blowing over. It wasn't. It was getting architecture. Rules were being written, and I wasn't holding the pen. At 1, I walked the South Hill job with a developer who smelled like cedar and expensive soap. We marked panel locations, argued about a ceiling fan, shook hands. My phone buzzed during the site visit. A text from Lauren. Sorry about this morning. I was sharp. Swing by if you're near. I'll bring you lunch. I'm downtown at 2. I could picture her typing that with a smile that always used to be mine. I'm at a job, I replied. Finish at 2:30. Shop by 3. She arrived at the shop at 3:10 with a bag of tacos and that same blazer. She set it on my workbench like a peace offering. Truce, she asked. Depends on the terms. I took a taco. Thanks. She watched me take a bite. You know I respect what you do, right? That a question or a statement? A statement, she said, softer. I'm just under pressure, Grant. These events help. I don't need drama. I already told you. I said, I won't be there. Relief flashed in her eyes before she masked it. I appreciate it. You're welcome. I ate another bite. In return, I expect no afterward errands. No midnight pickup. You run your world, I run mine. Okay. She stepped closer and brushed a bit of dust off my sleeve. You look good in this shirt. Uniform does what it can. She smiled. I'll make Saturday up to you. Maybe brunch Sunday? My treat. We moved the anniversary, I reminded. I'm booked Saturday. Right. She picked up a napkin, then put it down. I miss us. You miss the idea of us when you need stability, I said, not unkind. We'll see where we land. She nodded like she accepted it. I should go get ready. Good luck, I said. Break a leg. Or whatever corporate says when they're about to shake hands and pretend to laugh. Funny. She paused at the door. Grant, thank you. For tacos? Anytime. For trusting me. I didn't answer that part. She left. I threw out the bag and stood in the quiet shop, counting screws in a bin I'd counted yesterday. Her truce felt like a hand on my shoulder guiding me into a room where I couldn't see the corners. By 8, I was home. I put tools away, loaded laundry, and set out 2 envelopes on the dining table, one labeled joint, one labeled mine. Inside were new budget outlines. I wasn't making a scene. I was making a plan. 9:30, my phone vibrated. Running late. Don't wait up, Lauren wrote. Wasn't going to, I replied. At 10:15, another text. After party nearby. Work people. Tomorrow might be rough. No smiley faces. Just logistics like I was a neighbor being warned about noise. I didn't answer. I turned off the living room lights and sat with a legal pad. Headers. Housing. Car. Accounts. Calendar. Under housing, I wrote, guest room tonight. Under calendar, I wrote, separate. Under car. I wrote. Keys to my truck stay with me. She has her sedan. Under accounts. I wrote. Freeze extras, separate savings, stop auto pay for her subscriptions. Not punishments, clarity. At 11:45, the door opened. Lauren stepped in careful, not tipsy, but charged like she'd been plugged into a room full of smiles. She stopped when she saw the envelopes. What's that? She asked. Budgets. Schedules. We need budgets now. Her laugh had a little edge. Feels theatrical. It's housekeeping. I nodded at the envelopes. Separate spending. Separate calendars. I'm taking the guest room. She stared. Because I went to an event without you? Because you said I wouldn't fit, then asked me to trust you while you kept changing the rules mid-game. That's not fair. Maybe not. But it's precise. I leaned against the table. We're going lean. No gray areas. You want independence for work? You get it for life, too. So you're punishing me. I'm adjusting to the facts. If I were punishing you, you'd notice. Wow, she said, crossing her arms. You really think you're above this? I think I'm done being a prop. I nodded to the hallway. Guest room's ready. She glanced toward the living room window, like someone might be watching. You're overreacting. Maybe, but I'd rather overreact to disrespect than underreact to it. Her lips thinned. This is why I didn't invite you. That sentence tells me plenty. I picked up the mine envelope. We'll talk tomorrow about timelines. I have an 8 a.m. call. Don't ambush me before coffee. No ambush, I said. I'll have everything in writing. She held my gaze another second. Fine. Do what you need. She went down the hall. She didn't ask me to follow. I waited until her door clicked. Then I went to the guest room and slept like a guard dog on the porch. Ears open, eyes shut. The next day I hit the shop at 7. Rick looked up, read my face again, and didn't ask. We tore into a panel changeout. Then I sat at the counter to write the rules I'd promised. Short. Clear. I printed 2 copies and left one on the kitchen table at lunch. At 2, my phone buzzed with a message from Julia. You around? Shop, I replied. Can I call? Sure. She called. I'm sorry to bother you, she said. No drama, just firm. Tonight was, look, I know you said you're not 5, but I feel weird not telling you what I saw. I'm listening. She and Evan left the mixer together. Not just at the same time. Together. He told the team they were checking on vendors at the rooftop. Later, she came back with his jacket on her shoulders. Said it was cold. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. I'm not guessing. I'm just telling you exactly what happened. Thanks, I said. I didn't feel a thing right then. That came later. Also, she added, there's an internal complaint brewing about Evan. Not my story to tell, but it's real. If you start seeing headlines, know it wasn't random. Copy. I'm sorry, she said again. And this time it sounded like a human apology, not virtue. Don't be, I told her. You didn't write the script. After the call, I didn't smash anything. I made a list. The list saved me. I called a storage unit and reserved a space. I scheduled a Saturday morning pickup of my tools and personal files. I texted Nate about his garage doors and told him I'd be early, not because of springs, but because I needed the morning. I put a deposit down on a short-term furnished apartment across town. If it turned out I was overreacting, I could always cancel. And if not, every move already in motion. At 5:30, I got home. Lauren was there early, hair pinned up, hoodie instead of blazer. She stood by the counter like a person waiting for the bus. We need to reset, she opened. We're resetting, I said, nodding at the printed rules. That's the reset. This is cold, she said, tapping the paper. You moved out of our room. You froze the joint savings add-on. You changed the grocery auto pay. All accurate. I didn't do anything wrong. That's a sentiment. I leaned against the fridge. I'm not a judge. I'm a man with a line. She narrowed her eyes. People saw me last night. Are we going to talk about that, or are you going to pretend you don't read social media? I don't read it, I said. But Julia called. Her face flickered. Julia needs to mind her business. Julia deals in facts, I said. She reported some. And you're just going to take her side. I'm going to take the side of patterns. I picked up my keys. I have a job walk in 20. Now, I said. In the new plan, we notify each other. This is me notifying. You're not even staying to hear my explanation. Text it, I said. I'll read it like a memo. That seems to be your preferred language. I started for the door. She blurted, it was chilly. The jacket was nothing. Then it'll be a short memo, I said, and left. At the walk, the GC asked me about lighting controls. I explained daylight harvesting like I was teaching Sunday school. Then my phone buzzed. Lauren had sent paragraphs about optics, advancement, needing Evan's trust, the whole office watching. She ended with, "I know this looks a certain way. It's not that way." I wrote back, "Our life won't be collateral for optics. Keep it simple. Keep it clean. Keep me out." She replied, "That's not a marriage." I typed, "Then start acting like one," and put the phone away. The next morning, she came on strong. Pancakes. Coffee already poured. My favorite mug. She put a hand on my shoulder when I walked in, and her eyes were soft like the first year. "Truce," she said again. Round 2. "I Saturday, what's this buying you?" "That's unfair." "It's honest." "It's breakfast." She set down a plate. "I miss us. Let me fix tonight. Come to the team happy hour tomorrow instead. Meet everyone. Let them see what you're like." I raised an eyebrow. Yesterday, I didn't fit. Today, I'm a show and tell. I was wrong. She got quiet. I was proud. "You didn't deserve that." Agreed. "Come for one drink," she said. "Stand next to me. We'll reset the room." "One drink," I said. "My check, my exit, my timeline." I cut a pancake. "And I'm not talking shop with Evan." "You won't have to." She smiled too brightly. "He won't be there." I didn't say yes or no to that. I just ate and took the piece like a man who knows a ceasefire doesn't mean the war is over. At the happy hour, the bar was loud enough to hide whispers and quiet enough to hear the tone. Lauren introduced me to her team in a row. A couple of analysts who looked 20, a senior manager named Peter with careful hair, and Julia, who hugged me quickly and said, "You made it." "Against my better judgment," I said, which made her smirk. Drinks arrived. I ordered a club soda. Lauren ordered something with a lime. She stood closer than she had in weeks. I let her. "So what do you do again?" Peter asked, not unkindly. "Electrical contractor," I said. "Small outfit. 10 guys." Peter smiled with his lips. "Blue collar. Respect." "Electric's electric," I said. "Wires don't care about collars." Lauren laughed, and for a second it was genuine. Then she shifted. "Grant refuses to hire a bookkeeper," she told the table. "He still does invoices on paper." "Carbon copies," I said dryly. "And an abacus." They chuckled. Later, she told a story about me dropping a water heater on my boot in my 20s. She made it sound like slapstick. People laughed. She laughed, too long. I set my glass down. "Funny thing about that day," I said calmly, "is that I worked 2 shifts to pay for your grad classes. Worth it. Best bruised toe I ever had." The laughs died. Peter cleared his throat. Julia looked down and hid a smile. Lauren's face went tight. "I was joking," she said. "I know." I smiled back. "So was I." We stood there in the quiet that follows a small truth bomb. She squeezed my arm a little too hard. "Bathroom," she said through a smile, then leaned close to whisper, "What was that?" "Context," I whispered back. "It's good for optics." She turned away, jaw clenched. I took my club soda and walked to the far end of the bar. Julia drifted over. "That was surgical," she muttered. "You okay?" "I'm steady." "Good." She lowered her voice. "I'm filing my report in the morning. You'll see noise. Be ready." I nodded. "Thanks for the heads up." "Watch your back," she added. "People panic when things shift." "Appreciate it," I said. Back at the group, Lauren had recovered. She swung the conversation to travel. "We should all do a cabin weekend," she said to the table. "Grant's great at grilling." Hard pass. I cut in casual. "Our place is off limits for work socials." "New policy." Peter blinked. "That's strict." "Boundary," I said. "They're cheaper than lawyers." Julia raised an eyebrow at me. I finished my soda and put a 20 on the bar even though my drink cost $3. I kissed Lauren on the cheek. "My one drink is up. Have a good night." She grabbed my wrist. "We'll talk at home." "Sure," I said, freeing my hand. "Text if you can't make it by 11. After that, I'm asleep." On my way out, I caught Evan at the doorway. So much for won't be there. He was in conversation with a city council type I recognized from TV. He gave me the once-over you give a guy in a work shirt. I gave him the once-over you give a man who thinks he invented charm. We didn't speak. He reached past me to open the door for a woman behind me. His hand brushed my shoulder like I wasn't there. That was a data point. At home, Lauren arrived at 11:10. "We need to talk," she announced, dropping her bag. "We are," I replied. You embarrassed me. Which part? That thing about tuition. Truth embarrasses, I said. That's not on me. You were petty. I was precise. You keep using that word like it makes you noble. I keep using that word because it keeps me out of nonsense. She paced. Fine. New rule. No personal stories in front of my team. You want boundaries? That's mine. Agreed, I said. My rule. No work parties at our house. No last-minute ride requests. No shared calendar unless we both approve the events. If you break a rule, I adjust access. Access to what? Me. She scoffed. You're being dramatic. Think of me as a department, I said. When respect gets cut, the budget follows. She threw up her hands. Whatever. I'm going to bed. In the guest room, the sheets are clean, I told her. She stopped. Grant. Yeah. Don't do anything rash in the morning. I'll stick to the plan, I said. She hesitated, then softened, the second illusion. She stepped in, arms around my waist. I don't want to lose you. You want to keep your options, I answered. Those aren't the same thing. She pulled back. You really think I'm that calculated? I don't think in cartoons. I read behaviors. I brushed past her. Good night. Morning came with headlines. Not huge, not breaking news huge, but big enough. Senior manager alleges improper conduct by division VP. Internal review underway. The article quoted sources who described after-hours meetings, mentoring that blurred lines, and opaque travel approvals. It didn't name Lauren. It didn't need to. Lauren called me from the car. Did you see this? I did. It's exaggerated. I bet. I wasn't the one who filed anything. I didn't say you were. I'm walking into a storm, she said. Support me for once. I literally cooked you eggs 2 days ago. She ignored that. There's an all-hands at 9. I need you to be on my side. I'm on the side of my values, I said. You know where that side is. She exhaled into the phone like she was blowing out a candle she didn't pay for. This is bigger than us. Everything you pick over us tends to be. You're impossible, she snapped and hung up. At 11, Julia's text. It blew up. HR asked people to come forward. People did. At noon, Lauren texted, I'm fine. We're fine. Dinner. I've got a service call. I wrote back, which was true and also useful. At 2, another text. They cut my access badge pending review. At 3, can you pick me up? I thought about my rule about transportation. I sent back, you said you handle work logistics. Stick to that. You'll be all right. She called. They took my laptop. They said unpaid leave. I'm packing a box like someone in a movie. I'm not fine, Grant. That sounds rough, I said. You can call a car. So you're just going to leave me standing on the sidewalk with a box? You made a rule, I said gently. No spouses at work. I'm respecting the culture. Silence. Then, bitter, wow. I'll be home at 6, I added. We can talk then. At 6, she came in with a cardboard box and a face that had aged in a day. She set the box down like it was full of bricks. They said this isn't a termination, she started. It's an investigation. People are panicking. Julia started this. She's. Stop, I said. We're not throwing Julia under the bus. She's jealous. Or she's brave, I said. Either way, we stay out of it. You think I'm guilty. I think the choices you've made look like you preferred proximity to power over clarity at home. That's a very neat sentence. It's accurate. I nodded at the guest room. Take the bed. I'm booking a hotel. You're leaving now? Tomorrow morning, I said. I'm moving to a short-term place for 30 days. We'll separate time and money. No shouting match. Not my style. So that's it, she said, voice rising. One article, and you're gone. Not one article, I said. A year of drift. A month of rules written without me. 3 days of you managing me like a staffer. I didn't. You did. I picked up my bag. Here's the schedule. I move out tomorrow at 9. You keep the house for now. I'll send you the paperwork. Paperwork. You know the kind, I said. I didn't have to say the word. We were both adults. She swallowed. We can fix this. We could have fixed it when it was small, I said. You chose to make it large. You're cruel. I'm calm, I corrected. That's different. She stared at the box like it might argue for her. What am I supposed to do? Live by your rules, I said. Be independent. Network your way out. You're enjoying this. No, I said. But I'm relieved. I looked at her one last time. I used to be your person. Lately, I've been your decoy. I don't do decoy. She reached for me. I stepped back. Grant, please. No more please, I said. We're out of credit. I left the house quiet. At the top of the driveway, Nate texted me a photo of 2 fixed garage doors and a thumbs up. I sent back a check mark and kept driving. The apartment smelled like fresh paint and lemon cleaner. It had a view of a parking lot and a strip of sky. I unpacked what mattered: clothes, laptop, a photo of my dad in his shop. I slept like someone who had finally turned off the static. 2 days later, a second article dropped with names. Lauren's wasn't in the headline, but buried in the 3rd paragraph. 2 senior staff placed on leave pending findings. Her phone lit up for hours. Mine stayed quiet. I liked the silence. She called that night. I let it go to voicemail. We need to talk, she said. I'm not the villain you've made me. I saved the message, not to replay it, but to remind myself what it felt like to be spoken at. A week passed. Work flowed. I spent Saturday at Nate's, actually fixing the door springs this time. He cracked light jokes, the kind men do when they don't want to pry. You good? He asked eventually. I'm better than good, I said. I'm clean. You want a beer? Water's fine. He nodded. Straight. On Sunday, Julia texted again. I'm sorry for the collateral damage, she wrote. I know this cost you too. Don't apologize for cleaning a kitchen you didn't mess up, I answered. Fair, she replied. Monday morning, Lauren met me at the apartment parking lot. I didn't invite her up. We stood by my truck. She looked tired but composed. I lost the job, she said flatly. They called it a restructure. Neat word, like yours. I'm sorry, I said, and meant it for the part where any human loses a paycheck. You're really going to end this. I already did, I said. We're just catching up to it. You're not curious about my side at all. I've been listening to your side for months, I said. Your side is career first, image second, marriage if there's time. I'm not angry at you for wanting advancement. I'm done being the person you silenced to get it. I never silenced you, she said automatically, then heard herself and winced. Okay, maybe I did. I nodded. There's the start of truth. She looked at me like she didn't know who I was. You used to be gentle. I still am. I'm just not weak. I pulled a paper from my folder and handed it to her. This is the line. I'll sign it. You sign it. We take what we came with. No fights. No scenes. This fast. She scanned it, hands shaking a little. You had this ready. I had clarity ready, I said. Same difference. She folded the paper. One last thing. You think I did all of this on purpose? I didn't. I just got lost. People don't get lost and end up in reserved rooms, I said. They follow signs. She nodded once, hard. You are very sure of yourself. I'm sure of my values, I answered. It's cheaper to live that way. She swallowed. You'll regret this. I've regretted enough, I said. I opened the truck door. Take care of yourself. That's it. That's it. She stepped back, arms crossed around the paper like it was a sweater. Say something real before you go. I looked at her the way you look at a house you're about to sell. Last walkthrough. Then I said it. I don't share my name with someone who trades respect for access. She exhaled like I'd taken something she was saving. Goodbye, Grant. Goodbye, I said, and that was the point of no return. The next months were busy in a clean way. I moved out of the apartment into a small townhouse with a 1-car garage that I turned into a perfect little shop. I bought a used F-150 with low miles and no drama. The company landed a contract with a property management group. I hired 2 more guys. Work was good, simple, obvious. Wires and conduits, switches that click, invoices that say what they mean. I met someone at a neighborhood barbecue. Tessa, real estate photographer. Direct, funny, didn't perform for anyone. She looked at my hands and asked about calluses without trying to make a joke out of it. We took it slow because I set that pace, and she respected the pace because she understood timing wasn't a weapon, it was a choice. I heard about Lauren through other people. She's doing consulting. She moved into an apartment near the river. She interviewed at a startup, didn't land it. No gloating, just data points. I didn't chase the details. The only thing I checked was whether her car payment was still coming from the joint card. It wasn't. She handled it. Good. Adults should. One afternoon, I parked at a red light and saw a billboard about leadership with a slogan that would have made Evan proud. I laughed once short. Then the light changed, and I drove on. The house we used to share sold in the fall. We split the equity exactly the way we'd agreed. No scenes. She left me a box of my old college t-shirts on the porch of my shop with a note. You were right about boundaries. I left the box where it was for a day, then washed the shirts and used them as rags. That felt correct. There's no glory in any of this. No cheering section. Just a man deciding what he can live with. I thought I'd missed the noise of us. Turns out, I like the quiet. Turns out, I like being the person I respect when I look in the mirror. People ask what I learned. I learned that love without respect is charity, and I'm not a charity. I learned that rules I didn't write are still rules, and if I follow them, I'm the one who set them. I learned that the cleanest word in any language is no. Sometimes I drive past that downtown hotel with the glass elevators. I think about that night when a calendar invite told me more truth than a year of speeches. Then I take the next exit and head home. To the garage with everything in its place, the life that fits, and a woman who knows that the only door that's always